Hello there, everybody. I'm WaitWhat, and I'm back with Kansei. We just finished talking to Aki, we got into the security room, found some papers. Now we're gonna go look around.
Hey, con guy, right?
Hey, it's Liam. Liam approaches me as soon as I enter the hallway. Huh? Yeah, what's up? He runs his fingers through his hair and yawns.
Just wondering if you were on good terms with that police dude.
Gursky? Hell yeah. I wouldn't really say that I am.
Huh. Well, that sucks.
He shoves his hands in his pockets.
I told him I wanted to go, and he was all like, I can't leave because Uncle is something or other.
Dead, you mean? Liam stares at me as if I've just placed an octopus on top of my head.
What are you talking about?
Mr. Rotten is dead. He just died. Did Aki even tell him any of this when she was speaking with him? Liam's eyes dilate as he processes my statement.
Wait, so that means...
His eyes light up as a self-satisfied smirk spreads across his face. Yes, you're still in his will and you get all of his crap.
Well, there's irony for you.
What's so ironic about it?
Oh, come on. What isn't ironic about it?
Why, because he owns a...
The man makes artificial hearts for a living, but his own ticker fails on him?
I purse my lips in an attempt to keep my voice calm. You don't seem that cut up about it.
Why should I be? He was due for it soon enough with the way he was drinking. A heart attack, right?
I wonder if I get in trouble for punching this guy in the face. If it was him, which it probably isn't him, they're just trying to make him seem like the most likely suspect. Because let's just say it was him, this answer I would assume would relieve him or something. This one might make him sweat a little bit. Screw it. No. It looks more like he was murdered. Again, Liam takes a few seconds to process my statement. When it finally registers, his face twists into an expression of fear. Exactly!
Murdered?
Liam begins pacing back and forth, muttering to himself under his breath as he does.
No, definitely no. She said I had more time. Why?
He finally turns back to me and grabs my shoulders.
Are you sure it was murder?
Well, we won't be able to say for sure until the autopsy, but yeah, pretty sure.
No. This is not good. Not good.
He glances back and forth, as if he's expecting to see something leap out of the shadows and take him.
I need to think.
He dashes off down the hallway. Liam, wait! I take off after him and arrive in the main entrance just in time to see him race up the stairs. I follow him up the steps, but he's already disappeared by the time I get there. Nope, no examining. Talk, I guess? Did you
Talk to you later.
Did you just let Liam go? Oh, okay, Gursky. Whatever. Not gonna judge. Wait, nope. Nope. Never mind. Did Aki see that? What does she think of this situation? Nothing.
That's cool. We'll talk later.
No one cares that Liam just ran past and probably up the stairs. Whatever. So, about your family's debt. Kevin's face darkens, and he tugs on his hair nervously.
Yeah, that.
There's nothing to feel bad about.
You think so? Because I think there's plenty to feel bad about.
He glares at me.
My parents took out a loan so I could go to a good college, yeah? Everything looks okay until my last year, when the company suddenly changes their policy.
I just finally now notice pie is on his shirt. Okay.
The minimum payment shoots up, and the interest rate goes through the roof.
They can't do that.
Sure they can. It was in the contract, printed all tiny and in legal junk.
He rolls his eyes.
My parents are too trusting, but they wouldn't have gotten into this situation if it wasn't for me. And if I had been there, maybe I could have read the contract myself and seen something.
He looks like he wants to say more, but instead, he merely gazes at the ground.
So yeah, I feel pretty bad about it. But what can I do, you know?
That's all, I guess.
Come by if you want to ask me anything else.
Will do. Yeah, we're going this way. Talk to you. Wow. Does anyone in your family suffer from any kind of medical condition? Sophia places her hands on her hips and gives me a sharp glare.
Has someone been talking about my husband?
Oops, maybe I shouldn't have been so blunt about that. Liam told me about him.
That boy.
Sophia's expression tightens for a brief moment, but it doesn't take long for her to regain her composure.
Yes, my husband's heart is failing, and Autumn Engineering is the only company with the technology to keep him alive.
I'm sorry, but there's very good-looking food on TV right now. Ooh, chicken, bacon, no. Go!
Mr. Autumn allowed my husband preferential treatment in exchange for my services. I may not receive a paycheck, but I value my husband's well-being even more.
She clasps her hands together and straightens her back.
Now please do not pry any further into my private life.
Well, we're kind of in an investigation here, so I have to pry into whatever I can. Can you think of any reason why anyone would want to kill Mr. Autumn?
Sadly, I could name several. Mr. Autumn wasn't a very popular man in the business world. His most recent project stepped on a lot of toes.
And that would be...
Organ replication.
Ew. What?
Autumn Engineering is concerned mostly with mechanical organs like artificial hearts or lungs. But lately, Mr. Autumn has been trying to find a way to grow organs from living tissue. The process involves taking a tissue sample from the patient and using it to recreate the organ they need replaced.
That bacon looks amazing.
It ensures compatibility, and it allows for replacement of things impossible to substitute with mechanics, for instance, bone marrow.
Interesting.
The end goal is to be able to recreate any and all parts of the human body when necessary.
That sounds pretty sketchy.
Well, under certain circumstances it is. Of course, technicalities aside, the ethics of such research.
Sure.
Well, there were the obvious protests, demonstrations, and death threats.
Hang on. Why didn't you mention this before?
I didn't think it was important.
Are you kidding? He received death threats and now he's dead. You seriously don't see the connection?
But none of them seemed like serious concerns. Besides, Mr. Autumn received death threats for lots of his work. I didn't think this would be any different.
Oh, really? Why would people threaten to kill him?
He saved a lot of lives with his work, but people have died because of him too.
Well, you can't save them all.
Once in a while, one of the organs built by Autumn Engineering malfunctions and someone dies as a result.
Yeah, that's life. Not every piece of equipment, hardware, mechanics, whatever, is going to work 100% of the time. Granted, I understand. You probably put a lot of money paying for this artificial organ, then it stops working and they die because of it. I'd probably be pissed if that was some of my family too. But that's what happens.
It's not a common occurrence by any means, but they are tragic, and Mr. Autumn often receives the full hatred of the victim's family.
I can understand, even though no piece of equipment is perfect.
And of course, it's very expensive to get a replacement organ. People have gone into debt over them, and that brings about much hatred as well.
It's starting to become more evident why Mr. On doesn't like living around people. If that many people hated him, I'd probably lock myself up too. Hated me, I'd probably lock myself up too. Do you think that with all the lives he saved, people wouldn't hate him so much?
It's really not as simple as that. It's possible to do good things with bad intention.
Whoa, she looks angry. I thought she was really distraught about Mr. Autumn's death, but looking at her now, she definitely seems to be harboring anger towards him.
I'm sorry, I really don't know much more than this. The only thing I know about his work is what I wrote for his press releases. I know he kept copies of all of his research, but I'm afraid I wouldn't know where to look.
Probably this, right here. Well, we'll do that last. Did anyone buy some cognac for Mr. Alton recently?
That's an odd question. Is there any reason you want to know?
Oops. Good question. What should I tell her? She kinda already knows. We think it might be related to the murder.
Are you sure?
Surprise registers on Sophia's face for a brief moment.
Well... You don't think his cognac was poisoned, do you?
What? Well, certainly it looks that way. The symptoms are all consistent. The pale skin, the sweating.
If he were poisoned, what kind of poison are we talking about?
What do you mean? Sophia paces back and forth on the floor, speaking rapidly under her breath.
Why didn't I remember until now?
She berates herself. Sophia spins around to face me again.
This poison we're talking about, is it a sort of clear, oily liquid?
Sophia, do you know what it is? She hurries to the cupboard and pulls out a white linen napkin.
I just hope it's still here.
She pulls out a plastic bin from underneath the sink. The recycling logo is painted on the side. With the napkin wrapped around her hand, she picks carefully through the pile of bottles and cans until she finds what she's looking
Here.
for. She holds up a simple plastic water bottle. It's empty save for a few drops of water sloshing around the bottom. What is it?
I found this in the incinerator yesterday. We burn our garbage daily. I pulled it out because it belongs in the recycling. When I picked it up, I got some of the contents on my hands. It's not water. The texture is more like oil.
But what makes you think it's the poison?
Because I felt ill all yesterday after I touched it. The same exact symptoms you spoke of. What if it's the poison? What if the killer tried to throw it away?
But it's just a water bottle you happen to find. You may have been sick for some other reason.
No one in this house puts recycling in the incinerator. Mr. Alton has very strict rules, and we've always followed them. This is the only time I've ever seen something out of place. Please, just look at it.
Alright. I take the red bottle from her, being careful not to touch the plastic. It looks innocent enough, but if she's right, then there's only one person who could have poisoned Mr. Alton. Let's take this to Detective Gursky. Sophia nods in agreement. The two of us hurry down the hall and into the main lobby where we find Detective Gursky and Aki talking with each other.
Whoa, you two look like you're in a hurry.
Yeah, I think we have our key piece of evidence. I hold up the bottle for Detective Gursky and Aki to see.
And what is it?
It's the poison. Or what's left of it, at least.
It'll be easier if I just explain to you who did it.
Fair enough. So who did it?
Oh crap, I'm at this point already? Oh! Oh! Okay. Marissa? It's because I haven't talked to her as much, but she doesn't seem like the killer. Sophia, considering the whole heart thing with her husband, I doubt it was her. Kevin, dead, I doubt it was him. Probably Liam. Then he was talking about she said I had more time, so that'd be Sophia or Marissa. Huh. Mr. On himself. It was Liam. Mr. Alton was going to cut him out of his will, so we killed him before it happened.
So there's at least motive. But what about means and opportunity?
He snuck into Mr. Alton's study and poisoned his drink.
But how? Liam's not allowed access into the study in the first place, don't you remember?
Yeah, right.
Are you sure you thought this through?
No. Well, that was wrong. What's... No, I'm Mr. Odd. It's Mr. Odd.
You mean suicide?
Are you sure about that?
It had to have been. He He locked himself in his office, then took some
But
poison.
why? I know I said it was a possibility, but I've got to be honest, it's not a very big one. Unless you have proof.
Con, why would he call us here to speak with us, then kill himself?
Oh, I didn't talk to her about the papers. Maybe because... Okay, maybe I didn't think this through all the
I'll
way.
say.
Crap! Sophia! God damn it!
What are you talking about?
You're his personal assistant, which means you had access to his office.
But I don't! Mr. Otten wouldn't even let me enter!
Yes, you do. You got us in earlier, didn't you?
After we reset the power, she wouldn't be able to do it on her own.
And I would never kill Mr. Otten. He was my husband's only chance to live.
That's what I said, but you're telling me everyone else I thought it was isn't the case. Yeah, I guess so, huh?
Are you done with your wild theories yet?
Shut up! Marissa, then. Fine.
The reporter?
Detective Gursky frowns. He doesn't look convinced. She must have poisoned his drink during their interview.
When? He was speaking with her the entire time. She wouldn't have gotten the chance to do anything.
Oh, right. Well, then why did you put me in this situation right now? It was Kevin.
The IT guy?
But how did he do it?
He poisoned Mr. Otten's cognac, most likely. He wanted it to look like someone from the outside poisoned it before it even arrived at the house. So he picked something that Mr. Otten would lock up in
How'd he
the
get
office.
into the office? I thought no one was allowed in.
That may be true for Sophie and Liam, but Kevin controls all the security in the house. I bet he has a master code that can
Is
open
that
any
true?
door.
Yes, he's never used the master code, but it does exist.
So he had means and opportunity. What about a motive?
Is it really Kevin? Oh, god damn it. Saving there. This sucks. Did it for fun. Somehow I doubt they'll actually. See, I don't. What would he want revenge for? I don't get it. Unless I'm missing some piece of information. Accident.
On accident?
I don't think he meant to kill Mr. Otten at all.
There's no way he accidentally snuck into the study and poured poison into his drink.
Yeah, that seems just as crazy to me as it does to you.
This had to have been premeditated.
But we have some physical evidence. Sophia and I found it. Sophia holds up the water bottle for Detective Gursky to inspect. Sophia found this in the incinerator. We think he carried the poison in this bottle and then tried to destroy the evidence. Detective Gursky leans down to inspect the bottle. We'll likely find the fingerprints of whoever used this. And we'll be able to test the contents for poison. That was Detective Gursky! Exactly. Well, it's something alright. But without a motive, you can't say for sure that it was Kevin. Yeah, I think you've done enough. Police should be here soon, so just sit tight until they arrive. We'll get to the bottom of this. Yeah, sure. It's not exactly how I wanted things to end, but at least I managed to find something. That was terrible. Everything I did was wrong. Okay. I'm not satisfied with that. Where does this take me? Way far away. Nope. Nope. Crap. Nope. I'm failing all around. It was Kevin from the start because I'm smart.
The IT guy?
But how did he do it?
Yeah, we've been
How
there.
did he get into... Is that true?
Yes, he's
Master
So he had-
code. Oh. He did it for revenge.
Revenge? For what?
I hold up the papers I found in the security room. The destroying his family's business, of course. I found these in the security room. I hand the papers to Detective Gursky, and he rifles through them, scanning each page briefly with his eyes.
What am I looking at?
Proof of ownership. Mr. Otten owned quite a few loan agencies under assumed names. He gave out student loans to families like Kevin's, then changed the interest rate without warning, putting them into more debt than they can handle. The debt that he supposedly rescued Kevin's family from was one that he created himself.
So Kevin would bear a grudge against Mr. Otten for cheating his family and using him.
See, they didn't even give us any idea really what those papers were.
That's a good enough motive for me. And he's the only person with the means to do it.
Sophia found this in the incinerator. We think he carried the poison in this bottle and then tried to destroy the evidence.
Meaning that we'll probably find his fingerprints all over it.
A frantic beeping noise interrupts our discussion.
What is that?
The house is coming out of lockdown. Kevin must be unlocking all the doors.
I groan. Of course, he can see us. I'm holding a stupid murder weapon in my hand. He probably knows we've got him figured out.
Kevin isn't going to leave through the front. We never let him past us. Sophia, what other exits are there?
There's an emergency door in the museum.
There's a museum? Detective Gursky. Oh, that museum. Detective Gursky and Aki exchange horrified glances.
Lee May!
Is there any way to lock all the doors again?
There's a panic box upstairs that...
Don't explain it, just go!
Sophia turns and dashes up the stairs while the rest of us race towards the museum. Detective Gursky grabs the hand on the door and pulls, but the lock by the door beeps stubbornly. He pounds on it with his fist.
Kevin, we know you're in there!
No response.
Kevin!
Aki glances at Naoki and nods. He nods her in turn before punching in a string of numbers into the box beside the door. The box rewards us with a friendly beep and a click. Detective Gursky kicks the door open and we rush in.
Don't move!
Oh no! Not Lee May! Kevin stands across the room from us, one hand firmly on Lee May's shoulder, and the other holding a knife to her throat.
Kevin, it's okay.
Detective Gursky holds his hands up for Kevin to see.
We're just going to talk.
What if I don't want to talk?
Kevin shakes his head vehemently. It's always been a weird word.
I'm not stupid!
No, you're very intelligent. You should know that Sophia's locking the doors and there's nowhere to go. So why don't you just put that knife down and let us talk?
Kevin's gaze darts back and forth between us and the exit.
You're lying!
Aki steps forward slowly, hands held into the air.
Kevin, please. Just let her go.
Kevin's expression softens for a brief moment, but he doesn't release Lee May.
You think I'm gonna give up my only bargaining chip?
He presses the tip of the knife to Lee May's neck. A small bead of blood appears where his knife has punctured her skin, and runs down the side of her neck slowly, leaving a single crimson trail on her pale skin. No, Lee May! Lee May's body shudders, and her eyes grow dull. Oh god! In a single fluid motion, she snatches the knife from Kevin's hand and spins around, pushing him to the ground. Without hesitation, she raises the knife above her head and sinks the blade into his back. Ah!
Ah!
Exactly! Kevin stares at Lee May with muted disbelief. His entire body begins to shake, and he collapses to the ground. Blood pours from his cut, seeping into his clothes and creeping across the floor, and I find myself unable to do anything. My body is frozen in shock. The world around me is fuzzy, distant. I see Detective Gursky kneeling beside Kevin. He's shouting something at Naoki, but I can't understand what he's saying. Aki rushes forward and wraps her arms around Lee May. This is the first time I've seen Aki look so frightened. Lee May stares at Kevin's motionless body, as if she's never seen him before. The knife in her hand slips from her fingers and falls to the floor with a dull clatter. This can't be happening. There's no way this is happening. I can hear my own heart pounding against my ribcage as blood rushes through my head. The world is starting to grow even fuzzier. I feel ill. I clutch at my stomach and stumble a few paces back. Kevin is dying, and my Kansei is soaking up every moment of it. I struggle to remain standing, but it's useless. As I fall forward, the world around me turns black. Damn cliffhangers. Well, I have the sequel, so it's all good. See, I like that, just... It seemed like the game gave Liam... like I said, it probably wasn't him, because the game tried to make it seem like it was him, but gave him a lot more... I didn't even get everything. Wow. Yeah. They gave a lot more evidence towards Liam than, I just forgot his name. The person who actually did it all. Granted, I didn't look at those papers I found in the basement with Sophia, so that could have been something, but I just feel like I missed some stuff, and heck, this gallery shows me that I did. Well, original sketches from Style. Alright. Well, that was Kansei. Still good. I have my little issues with the end there where I just couldn't figure it out worth crap. But I still enjoyed it, and I'll be playing the sequel right after this as well, so I'm not getting into it here. Well, and the series here. Anyway, that was Kansei. Thanks for watching. I had fun. Hope you did too. I'm WaitWhat, and I'll be back with the sequel, which I believe is Yosei, soon enough. Goodbye.